Hello everyone, this is Krabman again from Bielava with our Japanese mahjong expert Daina Chiba.
Hello.
This year, instead of an interview, we're doing a short Q&A session. So I hope you enjoy. We have 13 questions to ask. I hope it's going to be a lucky 13. And let's just start. So the first question, Daina, is from Müller on Discord, the Ricci Competitive Hub. And he asks you, how many Ricci books do you own and how many have you read so far?
Okay. I think my answer would be pretty much the same to both of the questions. And I think, so I counted the number of ebooks I have. I think it's more than 40. And I also have a book in printed form. And that is, I think, around 20 or 30 maybe. But there is also some overlap. I have a copy of both printed and an ebook for some of the books because I like them so much. I wanted to have both printed and an ebook. So I would say like 60, 70. And I've read almost all.
Wow.
All of them.
Okay, great. That's a huge number. So no wonder you're that good, right?
Well, I'm not sure if reading books will make you stronger immediately. Of course, there is some learning curve. You know, whenever you learn a new technique, there is a time for you to adjust your playing style. If you do the adjustment too quickly, sometimes your performance will fall due to the lack of balance between some of the things that you need to value.
Yeah. So just may overdo it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Or not do it enough.
Or as you know more about details, then you pay too much attention to details without paying sufficient attention to the more basic things. So I don't reading books is I do read books for fun. I'm not particularly I don't think that how many books you have read is an indicator of how strong you are.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Question number 2 is from Menno de van Rijswijk from the Netherlands, and he asks you, how many years into playing mahjong did you master the basic skills mentioned in Ricci Book 1? So the fundamentals.
So I think I've been playing mahjong for more than 20 years now, and I would say I've got to know the skills I introduced in the book pretty late in my career as a mahjong player. I mean, I would say I got good pretty quickly after I learned mahjong, but I didn't quite try to organize my thoughts or didn't really seriously think about certain theories or certain skills of mahjong until the point that when I decided to write a book. So the experience of writing the book made me think, made me do some research, made me explore the universe of mahjong theories and skills. So I'd say pretty late. I was more of a casual player until I started writing a book.
And is it related in any way to you starting on Tenho as well?
Yeah,
like playing more seriously.
Yeah, that's also an issue. That's also a factor. Playing Tenho made you realize that you're not as good as you
same
thought
for me.
You thought you were. When you play real mahjong, real life mahjong, then you sometimes win, sometimes lose, and you tend to remember the time when you win. Exactly. You tend to forget the time when you lose, or sometimes even when you win, it is possible that you made a lot of mistakes that you need to be aware of, but you just don't realize those mistakes unless you have a record of choices you've made, statistics over your plays, and things like that. So playing Tenho was also a factor for me to reflect on what I know and what I don't know, things like that.
That's right. And I remember when I first got to first Dan on Tenho, I thought it meant something like, oh, okay, first Dan. When I think about martial arts,
right?
First Dan, it means something, and on Tenho, just the tip of the iceberg, or not even that. And then I realized, okay, there's so much more to do and learn, and so much more to progress. Okay, thank you. Question number 3 is from our club member, Julia. It's a very short question, but I guess the answer will be longer. Why Mahjong out of all games? So what do you like the most about it?
Why Mahjong? So there are a few things I like about Mahjong. First of all, I like the physical, physical aspect of Mahjong. I like the tiles, instead of cards or a computer screen. I just enjoy playing with tiles. Even though I don't play other tile games, but that's one thing. Another thing is that I may not come across as the most social person, but I also like the social aspect of Mahjong. You can interact, you can talk about things when you play Mahjong. So when I first learned Mahjong, I learned it from my friends from work or classmates. No, they didn't go to the same school. So I was at a university, but I learned Mahjong from my friends from my part-time job. And whenever we play Mahjong, we talked, and we used the time to catch up and discuss a lot of things. And that social aspect is one of the things that attracts me. Another thing is that so this is maybe one of the things that make Mahjong not a good candidate for Olympic Games, or this is one of the reasons why people may not like Mahjong. But Mahjong is a game of luck. So as much as it is a game of skills, so that which means that you sometimes win against very strong players, and that is one of the things that I like about Mahjong. So if you for other games like chess or Go, you can never win against players who are much more skilled than you are. So that may sometimes reduce the fun that you can have. Whereas in Mahjong, you can just have fun and sometimes win against better players. Yeah,
I think it's the answer you gave is similar for all Mahjong players. I think that's what we love about the game. Okay, thank you. So question number 4 is from Feng from Singapore. Do you have any advice for those who are also interested in writing a book?
Okay, so I'm not a book writer per se, or I'm not a good book writer. I think pretty much everyone would agree, given the fact that I haven't written the second book, even though I promised to write a second book. So one thing that I need to do, and I think people should pay more attention to, is to try to force yourself to work on manuscripts. Preferably every day. I've made a mistake of trying to save up some chunk of time, like I have a day off, so I'll spend the entire day writing a book, or I have this week saved for this project. But I don't think that is a good strategy. I think a better strategy would be to try to save up like 30 minutes every day and work on things like books, piece by piece. That's one thing. So that's one of the advice that I got from from my colleague. Another thing is probably it's better to try to know the market. So what kind of books of a kind are out there, and try to find a niche. So for me, it was easy because there were virtually no English Mahjong strategy books. But so I assume that he's interested in writing a Mahjong strategy book in English. So I guess my advice would be to get to know what kind of things are out there right now, because it's different now. Since I wrote the first book, now more people are writing about Mahjong strategy online. I mean, they don't publish in printed book format, but there are plenty of blog posts that are available. So I guess he knows pretty well. But I guess you might want to think about what kind of things are missing, what kind of things would benefit the potential audience the most. It's I think one of the things that you may want to think about.
Okay, thank you. Question number 5 is from our club member again, Justina. Do you have a favorite yaku?
I would say Honitsu.
Honitsu, okay.
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason for it, or the value, or?
No, I just like the balance. It's not cheap. The hand can get pretty expensive if you have Dora or Kanpai, and also it's still too high yaku even when you open, and opening a hand will force you to think and to be alert all the time, and it's more. I think it will make you more active, and I would say that's the aspect that I like about Honitsu.
Yeah, because it's easy to mess it up by calling recklessly.
Right.
By calling everything you can.
Right.
When it doesn't really progress your hand, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So more questions. These are going to be from me personally. Okay. Question number 6. Are there any Mahjong players you look up to?
No, I don't think anyone in particular. I mean, I like watching Mahjong on YouTube or Bema TV. Yeah, I don't say I have a particular Mahjong player as players. Although I would say I like Oi Takaharu and his commentary. He's quite entertaining. Well, I also think he's a very strong player, but he's also really good at explaining, what's going on in the game, and also entertain the audience.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his videos, and I don't know Japanese, and it was entertaining.
Oh, really?
Because of the way he behaved,
Right.
and his facial expressions, and just the tone of his voice. You can tell that he's enjoying it, and yeah, I think he's very charismatic as well.
Yeah.
So he's also my personal favorite too. Okay. And by the way, do you also spectate Ho games on Tenho? Ever?
Yeah. From time to time,
For learning purposes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you think Mahjong will ever make it into the Olympics? That's related to one of the answers you've given already.
Yeah. I'm aware that there are several several groups of people who are trying to do that. But I must say, I personally think it's very likely. So first of all, I'm not quite sure any mind game, not just Mahjong, but any mind game would make it to Olympics. I mean, Olympics is for physical sports, not for games like chess. I don't know how far advanced games like chess is in that aspect. Do you know anything about that? Like how likely
Not really.
it is that they will include chess in Olympics?
No, I don't follow this stuff. So
Yeah, I don't follow this news very closely either. But so first of all, I'm doubtful that any mind games will make it to Olympics, and even if they decided to have mind games as part of Olympic Games, I'm not quite sure Mahjong would fit into Olympics, given the fact that it's given how much luck plays in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a better way to enjoy Mahjong would be to look at the results in a little bit more longer term than would be appropriate for Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Next questions. Have you ever thought of joining a professional Mahjong organization?
No, not really.
Mm-hmm.
No, so I'm not sure how familiar you are with the professional Mahjong leagues, but even though it's called professional, it may not be what you would think when you hear the word professional.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, professional means that you would make money, you would make a living on playing Mahjong. But professional Mahjong leagues, as they stand, are a little bit far from that.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, they have to pay some membership fee instead of receiving salary from Mahjong. I know that some of the leagues, so for example, JPML, they have been becoming more like professional in the sense that the members who do some work for the organization or for the Mahjong community will make money because of the effort of the president of JPML. So JPML may be an exception, but but pretty much most of the Mahjong leagues are not really professionals. And I also have a job and that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I like Mahjong, but I'd rather separate my hobby
from work.
From
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question. How important do you think is the psychological aspect in Mahjong? Like your player's attitude, dealing with losses, etc.
I would say pretty important. But I think when we talk about psychological aspects of Mahjong, there are at least two different aspects of psychological aspects.
Mm-hmm.
One is to deal with your own mental status, like how to deal with difficult situations mentally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you cheer yourself up after dealing into Yakuman, for example. The other aspect is how to try to manipulate what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if this is cultural aspect, culture related things, but at least in Japan, trying to manipulate other people's thoughts is kind of considered to be a little bit unfair, even though I think it's not unfair. I think it should be a part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason in Mahjong, bluffing or lying about your hands or making comments about your hands are considered to be rude or unfair. And for that reason, I think the Mahjong community as a whole have been trying to try not to think about the second aspect of psychological issues.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's I would say it is an important
Mm-hmm.
factor. But I'm not sure if I would include psychological aspects in the set of skills I discuss in my Mahjong, in my second Mahjong book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And do you know of any maybe Japanese books about the psychological aspect?
Yeah.
Are there any?
There is actually one book. I forgot the title, but
Mm-hmm. No problem.
I can provide the title in a comment on YouTube or something. But there is one really good book on psychological aspects of Mahjong.
Okay.
That book actually talks about how to kind of manipulate other people's thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I was wondering, maybe they want to keep Mahjong so pure and clean of the elements you mentioned, like bluffing, and because there aren't maybe an inherent part of the game, like maybe in case of poker they are considered to be a part of the game, like
I
another
can see
rule.
that some tricks, some skills could be considered as dirty tricks, but at the same time, I don't think all things. Some things would be dirty, but I don't think all would be dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the things that you do, and I'm open to. I don't be offended if I was tricked into believing based on some of the things that other people say or do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it could add more suspense to the game or more complexity even.
Right, but I think it will also invite a lot of uncomfortable debates, especially in tournament setting.
Definitely.
In Europe.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay.
So I'm not sure if we would want to open this particular can of worms. Maybe this is like a Pandora's box. Maybe we may not want to
let's
touch
just
it. Yeah.
okay, make it stay in its place.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question is, do you have any tips for dealing with bad streaks? Losing many games when you can't do anything?
Yeah, just do something unrelated to Mahjong from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, if you're playing Tenho, then after one game, just do something like do some chores, like washing the dishes, doing the laundry,
Mm-hmm.
Go to toilet. Do something unrelated to Mahjong, rather than playing many games consecutively.
Yeah, because then you can go on tilt and lose even more.
Yeah.
Right? Because you'll make bad decisions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's in your opinion the main factor that sets apart players at the highest levels? So, of course, they have fundamentals down, intermediate stuff, but there's even more, right? In terms of maybe information gathering. So, what do you think sets them apart at the highest level?
So I think that thanks to the books and blog posts on Mahjong strategies, I think that nowadays many Mahjong players know of important Mahjong theories that are important. But I think what what makes good players good is knowing how to take a balance between certain skills among certain skill sets. So knowing skills or theories would not be enough. What you need to know is when to rely on a particular theory, when to ignore a particular theory, like when to take balance among several competing theories, and I think that will come with experience. So I think knowing the theories would be an important prerequisite, but I think what draws the line is how to take a balance among them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Next question. Have you ever played at Janso? And how's it different from Tenho or EMA tournaments?
Yeah, so the answer is I have many times. There are many different aspects. So first of all, many mahjong parlors are gambling places, at least in Japan. So that's one of the things. So you have to gamble, and that means that the atmosphere is a little bit sometimes much less friendly than
I can imagine
than EMA tournament. but also when you become a regular at a particular Janso, you can make friends with the staff or with other regulars. But yeah, so atmosphere is different. Another difference would be that there are more. Another aspect is that they have this shugi bonus. You get some money for getting red fives or ippatsu or redora.
Mm-hmm.
That adds different dimension to the game. So the games themselves are a little bit different. Another thing is that you can leave whenever you like, or you can play as long as you want. That's also obviously different from tournament experience. But other than that, like, Mahjong is Mahjong. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, I enjoy both
Mm-hmm.
Janso experience as well as EMA tournament or Tenho experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the reason for this question is that I've seen a few times on Discord people saying that if it was Janso, I'd discard this, or I'd push this hand, but on Tenho I wouldn't, so that's why
Right, yeah.
it made me think of this question.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So Janso Mahjong has Oka. It's like the extra bonus that the first place player get.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like the opposite of Tenho Mahjong, where the fourth place player get extra punishment. So I think that also adds a different aspect to Janso Mahjong.
Mhm. Okay, thanks. And now the last questions, or next to last. I wanted to avoid that, but you kind of maybe felt it was coming. About the Ricci book too.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still working on it?
Yeah,
And
I
if
am
you are,
working on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I am working on it. But
Okay.
I'm sorry that I haven't been able to deliver the book. But the thing is that I got so much busier than I was.
Mhm.
I think I would say like 50% is done, but it's now very difficult for me to find the time to work on it. But I am working on it.
Okay,
Yeah, but
that's good news.
I would not say. I would not say by when.
Mhm.
I'll get to it. I'll try to finish it as soon as possible.
Okay, sure. It was your goodwill to even write it, so just take your time.
But it's not nice to say that I'll do it by this time and then not do it.
Oh, you can always say, I just want to improve the book, so it takes time.
Right.
It's always a good excuse. And I have another small questions. It's from Fang actually, but I kept it till the end. Do you have any other Mahjong plans after releasing Ricci Book 2? Like writing another book, or maybe you still don't know? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's so
I still
early.
don't know, but
Mhm.
I've been meaning to do some research. So the materials that I covered in Rich Book 1 are not my original thoughts. They're my goal was to share what have been widely shared among Japanese players with non-Japanese
Mhm.
players. So they're not like my own findings. But I've been meaning to learn some techniques to do some data analysis of of Mahjong records to do some original research
Mhm.
on Mahjong. So I guess that may be one of the things I may do.
Okay.
For now, I don't know.
Oh, that's good enough. That's good enough. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot for this Q&A
Of
session.
course.
And now we're moving on to the lecture.
All right.
Okay.